Something very likeable about Owen Farrell. I think there's a kind of a love-hate relationship between him and English fans. I was listening to a BBC podcast during the week, and he's not as appreciated maybe as a guy with over 100 caps who's done it all at club level as well, for whatever reason. His form and his position is now a big question for Steve Borthwick to figure out. Are we all agreed, Alan, you can get the ball rolling, we're all agreed Ford is the 10? Yes? So Farrell has to come in and plays a 12. That's their best team.
I don't know. I think the man over there probably is the best man, best place to talk.
I wanted to get your opinion first.
No, I think, look...
It's a good pass for a back
From a psychological... it's not passed over fully yet. I'm about to throw the pass.
Double pump.
From a psychological point of view, I want Owen Farrell on my team. I want to be in the dressing room as a player looking across at him. But then I also want to run off George Ford as a back row. I want him to pass me the ball. I want him to kick the ball when I need to as well. So if I was in that dressing room, I'd want the two of them there for those reasons. I'm a big fan of George Ford's. I know we're going back 4 years, but 2019, that performance against New Zealand and in the build-up to that and through that World Cup, they were sensational. Problem we have is Tuolangi has to play as well. He's another one I'm looking for. So that moves Joe Marchand out. Tuolangi has shown a bit of sharpness, to be fair, and I think he's one of these players at international level. At any level he plays, he's special if he's on it, if he's fit, if he's tuned in, if he's disciplined. So
and
the temptation from he looks better. Yeah, he looks like he's had a horrendous time. So the temptation
what's the psychological aspect you mentioned with Farrell?
I just love that he's a warrior. He's hard as nails. He's the kind of fella. If England are going up in a semi-final against South Africa, Ireland, France, and everyone's writing him off, he's the one in the dressing room that's pumping that chest out and making you believe. And that may be when you're the underdog, which is strange to be saying England could be underdogs. They may not get there, but at that kind of an effect, that presence in the dressing room, I always liked that as a player. I had O'Connell doing it, I had Mick Galway, Woody doing it, you know. I loved that vocal thing. Dricker was quieter as a captain when I played under him. Obviously, he did special things out in the field. But you just feel Farrell has that. He's one of those guys that kind of gets you on edge as well.
Do you buy into that? Is that not overstated, that? That not of a bygone era?
He's a good player as well. He's not as if he's a passenger and carrying him. He's still only 31. You know, this guy's a phenomenal player as well. I think going between 10, 12 a lot hasn't suited him.
Okay.
But look...
Quinny's right. It's belief. When you're in a team and you look at a guy you're playing with, you say, John, you know, you get confidence about the people around you. And England have played really well with Ford at 10, Farrell at 12. I think Farrell is one of the best inside centres in the world when he's on form.
Right.
And his relationship with Ford is very, very good.
Do you think he's a better 12 than a 10?
I think at this stage of his career he is, yes.
Okay.
I think he's a good 10, but I think he's an even better 12. And again, this is this New Zealand concept of what they call the second five. You have an equally skillful playmaker at wearing the 12 jersey. The difference is Farrell is a great defender.
I always preferred him as a 12.
Yeah, he's rugby league background. You know, his dad was a great rugby league player for Great Britain. And you know, look, and again, I think that's part of the reason why he doesn't quite fit into that Eton educated English mould that some of the British media don't appreciate him. I can tell you he is absolutely respected overseas, 100%, for his toughness, for his leadership, and his skill, and the guy's a serial winner.
Yes.
You know, and that rubs off on a team.
You've hit the nail on the head. He is a serial winner. You look at his record with Saracens, with England, you know, winning Six Nations, winning European Cups, winning, you know, numerous premierships. He's massively respected with the players who he plays with and the players who he plays against. He is a winner. I think, you know, the general public in England like to dislike Saracens. And he's at the
Saracens
forefront of that.
thing is part of it as
well. But on your point, and you know, I agree with you both, but there is flaws with having to have Ford, Farrell, and then you're going to have to put Tuolangi at 13.
Yeah.
Tuolangi doesn't move laterally well enough to...
That's my concern, yeah.
So you come up against someone like Gary Ringrose taking Tuolangi on the outside, you're going to have to set your winger tighter. There's going to be space further in the wider channels.
So what do you do, Andy? Put Tuolangi on the bench. Who do you play at 13? Marchand?
Personally, I think if you go with... I'd actually put Daly at 13 because he's fast enough to do it. But
He's improved as a 13
He has.
since the Lions
Yeah.
tour.
No,
I think he's really improved.
Really smart rugby player. He's a good kicking option as well, which we've seen England kicking the ball a huge amount. It's very hard to leave Tuilagi out, though. He's been, the heartbeat of the midfield of that English side for such a long time.
And for their style of rugby, which isn't as sophisticated at this point as, say, the Irish attack, there is a certain niceness to think, well, here you go, Tuilagi, bash away.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you run into the problem then as well of having too many playmakers and no one to get you over the gain line. So if you have the conversation, or do you go, Ford, Farrell, Smith played well tonight, do you go with him at full back? Too many chefs spoil the broth.
Yeah.
You as a 10 wouldn't want playmakers all around you?
Well, you need someone who's going to get you over the gain line to do the hard yards, because there's not space all the time. You've got to earn the right to go wide. And it is a conundrum.
Fordy's not that player. Fordy's a great player. I really respect him and like him. Yeah. He's not a runner like Farrell is. He's a passer who brings people into space.
Okay.
So you've got to have that balance. Maybe it's Smith on the bench, which gives them another option on the bench, because he would cover 15 and 10 at that point, and that would allow them to play another one there. So they've got flexibility.
Yeah.
And let's just spin that on the head. All of a sudden, the coaches have a few options, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And the last part, just to finish on the Farrell thing, that's the first time we've seen good attacking shape from England.
Well,
and Farrell on the field, and he is an organiser and a demander. He's Johnny Sexton. I want you there, get out there, and he doesn't take rubbish from anyone. So the fact that and I know it's Chile and we have to put that in perspective, but we still saw shape.